Did you ever forgive your parents for the ultimatum?
Um, I came to terms with it and I understood why. And I think it was the right decision. The way my father treated me, I don't think I would say forgave. I would say came to terms with, because my father was not the most lovely person, not the most loving person. As a person, I didn't like him. Um, but that's okay. He was a human being. Just because he was my dad doesn't mean that he had to be perfect. He was
100%.
just some guy trying to make his way through the world, earn a living, support his family. But yeah, he was an unpleasant bastard sometimes.
Mm. And does that story, he's unpleasant and he is what he is, help you
Mm.
just accept how he responded to
Yeah,
that situation?
yeah.
Have you forgiven yourself?
I think I came to terms with it.
There's the emotion again.
Yeah,
What emotion is popping up for you right now, if you were to express it in words?
I think guilt and regret. Yeah.
How's the guilt and
Yeah.
regret serving you right now as a
Oh, it's
50-year-old
not.
woman?
Absolutely not. Not in any way whatsoever. It's utterly destructive.
And how could you sleep with guilt and regret? I mean, just help me understand that. How could you fall asleep at night if all you're feeling is guilt and regret?
I haven't felt that outwardly um, for at least 20 years now. Inwardly, it may well be stuck because it can still come out.
And even if it doesn't present itself in a way that you understand it to be connected to that story, it presents itself in a lack of sleep.
Yeah.
I mean, how could someone fall asleep if their body cannot rest because they're worried or because they're regretting something that cannot be changed anymore? How can that person fall asleep if they're only living in the past when the
Mm,
present is moving forward into the future?
mm,
Go figure, right?
mm,
And then if you went back in time, maybe you gave that 15-year-old a hug, nothing more.
mm,
The hug that her father didn't know how to give her for an innocent mistake because she was groomed by a 19-year-old young man that knew what he was doing with an innocent young girl.
mm,
The hug that she didn't know that she needed that would help her change her whole life in the future. The hug that would have allowed her to grow a lot more in independence, financially, emotionally, physically, spiritually, and everything else in between. I mean, that, if you allowed her to receive that as a 50-year-old woman that has all this maturity and wisdom and caring nature, you're always dealing with all these people, and you know what they need. They need love,
mm,
don't they?
mm, mm,
They say love conquers everything, doesn't it?
mm.
Emotionally, when you are
Yeah.
infatuated, if you are infatuated and so in love,
Mm,
you're unstoppable.
mm,
You have this immense power from God knows where to do
mm,
anything and everything to please that person. And you forget about you in the process because it's all focused on them, right?
mm,
If you could use the same immense, deep love and bring it all back inside of you as though you're falling in love all over again. And you could do anything in your power to help that person heal, show up for them, give them everything that they need, they want, whatever it is. But you go back in time and you give it to the 15-year-old Maria
mm,
that might have lost herself to a story because a man stripped her away from her innocence. I mean, if you could give her all of that from your heart into her heart, could you imagine and only imagine how her life will dramatically change? And then with that hug and that healing and that processing, when she's helping others and caring, she's not coming from a painful point of regret and guilt anymore. She's actually coming from a place of love. It's a little bit different. The position changes slightly in the projection of how she delivers her work to others, because now it's not coming from pain. It's coming from a healed soul. And when it comes from a healed soul, she's got more energy to give.
mm.
Isn't that true?
That would be good. Yeah.
Can you imagine how many lives you would transform just based on no language or any exchange, just based on your energy? Because it's shifted from coming from guilt or pain or regret or shame or sadness to a person that is unconditionally loving because they believe everyone deserves, you know, something good
Mm,
in return of nothing. Because what do you really receive from them? Maybe a smile, maybe a thank you. But truthfully, they receive more from you than you get from them.
mm,
Could you imagine if you exchange everything from yourself from a loving point, not a regretful, guilty point? How much more you would intensify that healing for them and that caring nature of yours, which is currently your temperament or your foundation, you could call it. But it's just
mm,
been stood on some stilts
mm,
that weren't of choices of yours. But now, when you can make it your own choice because it comes from love and that unconditional love, can you imagine how much energetically it'll bounce back inside of you? Because it's a
mm,
cause and effect instead of being affected by a cause, hence why I'm creating another effect.
mm,
I am the one at cause creating an effect that effect can then also deliver into my cause and then deliver that back out. Have I confused you or not yet?
no.
And it's so much better if we're at cause of every effectual situation and we're the ones that create an effect, as opposed to living a life from an effective point of view from someone else's cause on us. Which one
Mm.
has more power, being affected or being the cause of an effect?
Being affected.
The one that has more power is
Ah,
being affected or the one that cause of the effect?
I can kind of see both because I've developed quite a lot of power myself in reaction to that effect because everything that I feel, everything that I do is created inside, regardless of what the stimulus outside is. How I deal with it, that's my power.
But that's due to a cause that created this
Mm,
effect.
mm,
But if you were at conscience cause within yourself to create an inner effect that'll project externally, which is more stronger.
yeah, of course.
Mhm. Yet you're thriving off the effect from a cause that gives you resilience, if you want to give it a label or a name. However,
Mm,
if you were at the cause of any future effect, then you've got more power, don't you?
mm, yeah, yeah.
So if you can cause a new ripple effect by going back in time and giving that young girl a hug and compassion, and love and resilience from a forgiving place, from an accepting place, wouldn't that change how you show up in the world, inside to the out?
Yeah. Yeah.
Who would you then meet on the other side if you were to be at cause of every future effect from this moment moving forward? Who would you meet on the other side of yourself? Who would that person be? Who is the I in the you?
I don't
Who would you like her to be?
I don't know.
If you can create her from scratch, who would she show up as?
I would still like her to be a caring, kind person.
Tell me what emotion is presenting itself as you say that.
Deep, deep sadness.
Sadness. Who gives better care, somebody that's sad or somebody that's content?
Somebody that's content, obviously.
And when you decide to let go of sadness, guilt, regret, maybe even shame, or anything else in between that you may not have labeled yet, how different would your life then become?
It would be nice to think that I would have more, I suppose, conscious control of the direction rather than reacting.
And in order to have conscious control of the direction, can you see how cause would be your number one driver, not effect?
Yeah.
I don't know if you're open to the idea of just maybe taking a nice inhale in, letting all these emotions that are scattered outside of you and within you just to settle for a moment or two. And just allow your eyes to gently close when you are ready and only when you're ready. That's right. With your eyes closed, you might notice everything that you may have forgotten to notice, that you're beginning to notice once more, potentially for the very last time, before you let it all go. So you can be certain to notice all the fragmented pieces as you spread them out. You might want to pay attention to the few specific pieces, the ones that were, if they were missing, wouldn't allow the picture to be whole. And I have this certainty that you know, somewhere deep within you, that you know exactly what these few fragmented pieces are connected to. And you know exactly where they sit in the framework, in the position of your timeline, your age, that moment. It's a place that we sometimes avoid going because the pain is just too heavy to feel. And so what I found that some people like to do is fill their minds with jargon, empty thoughts, and more thoughts, and more worry, and people's problems, people's opinion and their judgment, just to avoid the missing pieces that have allowed space in their picture not to be complete. Because, I mean, who wants to look at a art piece that's been torn in a couple of places and hang it on their wall and think it's a masterpiece at the end of the day? You see, any masterpiece must need all the pieces to be put together, no matter the colors or the lack of colors, whether it's pretty or ugly. That's only a perception based on the person that owns that picture. I don't know if you know, and I don't know how this might land for you, but there was this artist that stared at his canvas for multiple years, looking inside himself, trying to find inspiration from the outside world. What should he paint? What expression must he express on that canvas? He had a palette full of colors to choose from and paintbrushes that your mind cannot fathom. And for 5 years, this man stared and really stared at this white canvas, this empty, plain canvas. Until one day, you know, that one day that I will change my life. That one day, Monday is coming, I'll reduce weight. You know, that one day that everyone decides they will do and make a change. The one that never actually arrives. Well, this man didn't want to wait anymore for the one day for the inspiration to come in order for his paintbrush to begin to move. And so he decided after 5 years of emptiness to just pick up the paintbrush. And the first color he seen was black. And as he reached down, further down, deeper into that palette, he began to swirl his brush back and forth until his brush became full. And as he began to raise the brush, he did what any artist would know to do. He just tapped all the excess weight of the dark black paint. And as it began to dribble down into the palette, as it began to just naturally release off each bristle, he lifted that brush to the center of that canvas. And this man decided to no longer wait to find what he was looking for and just to begin painting. And the only thing that this man painted was a perfect round spot in the center of a white canvas. And as he walked back to observe his artwork, he decided that it was complete. He signed it off on the bottom right-hand corner. He put his brush in a cup of water, and as he began to sway it around and wash it through, as the ink began to fade away, the water began to darken, and the brush began to be cleared of any leftover residue of the past colored paint that he used. And as he raised the brush, he put it in a new cup of water and swayed it a bit more to clear a little bit more residue of paint. And as he made sure through each stage, the water got clearer and clearer until the brush was wiped clean. And when it was clean, he allowed it to dry naturally amongst the other bristle brushes in his set. And this man was so proud. After 5 years, he decided to just begin. Now, that particular painting, and I forget the artist's name, sold for over $1 million in an art gallery. The man that bought this painting stared endlessly at how much this person that painted this painting could have held on to so much pain to just decide to create a center of a black dot. And you see that the fragmentations of our history, our past, may not be understood by everyone. But there are some people that can just look at you and they know. They know the history of emotions, limitations, pain, just based on your story or the way you're living. They don't know because they want to judge, but they know because they understand. Hence why some people pay big dollars for things that mean nothing to others and seem so insignificant. But for some, they find significance in the most simplest things. And I wonder if you could stop searching or avoiding the fragmented pieces of your puzzle, and maybe just notice an image. If you were to go back in time, maybe to that 15-year-old young girl, and notice what you notice. That could be the missing piece. And if you could potentially kneel down to a height and level of understanding, if you allowed yourself the opportunity to, and just noticed her perfection in between the imperfections, like the man that purchased the painting accepted it for what it is and purchased and paid premium dollar for what would not be purchased by any average person. And so I wonder if when you decide to kneel down to the level of confronting truth, what would you tell her? What would you let that 15-year-old know that she didn't know at the time, that would allow her the inspiration of letting things go? Or maybe you might not want to tell her anything. Maybe you want to take this moment as you hear my voice to just imagine that you can bring your right hand and touch your heart and allow your left hand to overlap as you gently lean forward and embrace this 15-year-old young girl. The way you care for the elderly and the people in the position you work in. Could you bring all that caring nature into this 15-year-old little girl? And maybe whisper what she's been waiting to hear. You might want to let her know that she is loved. And as you're allowing these emotions to just be expressed, you might want in real life to bring your right hand and touch your heart and allow your left hand to overlap on your chest. That's right. And you might want to embrace this little girl. And perhaps you might want to scream out how sorry you are for forgetting she's even there. Being so busy in life and avoiding the feelings of expression. Maybe letting her know that you mean you're sorry enough to ask her to forgive you. I mean, if she can hear the words utter through your mouth into her soul. Maria, I am sorry. I'm so sorry, my little girl. I'm so immensely sorry for not letting you know the chapter of your life that you are about to experience will dictate certain outcomes. And so I want to let you know that I love you. And for that, I'd like to ask you, Maria, could you forgive me? I'm so sorry, my love. I'm so, so deeply sorry for the loss, the grief, the changes. And I love you so immensely that I ask you, please forgive me. Please forgive me. Maria, I love you. And I am sorry, my darling. I am sorry for your loss. Could you find it in your heart? Because I know when you're young, you're more forgiving, more flexible for change. So could you potentially forgive me? That's right. And I wonder if and when will she surrender into your arms? I mean, could you, Maria, allow her to surrender, to trust you? Maybe reassure her that you will never let her go again. Or maybe it's just enough for you to be there in that moment of loneliness, of darkness and confusion, when no one knew how she was feeling. No one really asked her, did they? What do you want? They dictated. They decided what will be best. They made the decision to draw her destiny, and she was too young to know otherwise. But now that you know what she did not know, could you allow her to now know that she can know what she's held on to, she can release? And maybe due to you allowing her to see the light, the end of the tunnel, and in that release, she can decide how to live her life moving forward, because she will have the strength to meet herself, the self that she lost, to a culture and identity and family and their belief systems that was never really hers. And who knows? You could choose to hold her hand as she walked through the age of 16. Then 17. And then 18. The way the paintbrush washed over all the darkness in the water, you could walk into 19 and allow it just to wash over you as you naturally, easily, and effortlessly release another fragmented piece that was pulled apart. And you could take back control by moving that brush, by holding her hand and drawing yourself into 19, into 20, then 21, but with strength and resilience, maybe even acceptance that the artist doesn't have to add so many things to be accepted by someone. But accepting yourself is enough. The way that artist accepted that one black dot was enough to express the 5 years of confusion. I mean, you could potentially hold her hand as she walks through each stage of her life. And maybe when you notice a fragmented piece like the age of 19, you could find the other piece of her and take her along and begin to hold the left on one side and the right, the older one, and the center is you, carrying them both. Like any puzzle, when you look for the missing pieces, you carry them both until you understand where they must sit in the image. And if you carry her by her hand, the 19-year-old, and you remove her from the situation that she had no control over, and you take with you the 15-year-old, while the 58-year-old is carrying them both through this life, this journey, you might notice what you didn't notice before. That your resilience, your power, your forgiving natural nature by the caring ability you already have is being transformed from your heart into your shoulders, down into both your elbows, into your wrists, into your fingertips, and into both their hands. And if you've ever held a child's hand, you know when they squeeze your hand, that squeezing is a form of reassurance that they feel what you're sending. They feel the love. And you might begin to notice the 15-year-old and 19-year-old squeezing your hand to reassure you that they see you. And they're grateful that you finally found them both. And that you can finally put your pieces back together again. That finally you can take them with you and complete the missing parts of your picture, your story. And the moment you lift those pieces and put them where they belong, perhaps you decide to laminate and frame that image. And you might have a sacred room in your home that you want to hang it there as a reminder of your story, but a positive reminder because you're the one that recollected and found those missing pieces, put it all back together in love, care, and forgiveness. And now that image is ready to be seen. By the people that you allow into your space. Or you might want to store that image into a personal room that you walk into and like to reflect from time to time that this is your story. That on the 11th of the 6th, 2026, you found those missing pieces and you had the courage to put her back together. So when the evening comes of the 11th of the 6th, 2026, and all the days after that, the moment you lay your head on that pillow in the evening, you are free to sleep easily and effortlessly, so restfully, because you're no longer searching and you have found what you finally looked for and lost over the years. And perhaps even the word insomnia brings a giggle to you because you realize now that you found yourself, there is no need to worry anymore. Now that you've collected all the missing pieces, you can finally rest without guilt if you choose to let it go. Let it go. Let it go. Or maybe you choose to let go of the regret or even the sadness. You may want to, Maria, perhaps to release it all so you can enjoy the restful sleep that you've been longing for so long. And that this evening will be the first night that you will have the restful sleep you've been waiting to actually arrive at. Like the child that cannot fall asleep without their dummy or their blankie or their bottle of warm milk. You could now rest. Because the moment a child finds what they're looking for to soothe them, their bodies naturally relax. And melatonin naturally releases. And their mind naturally falls into a deep, healthy, restorative sleep. That's right. Exactly right. And perhaps when you notice your heartbeat is at ease and your breathing is in rhythm of my voice, and that the image has finally been completed, you can now let that image go and allow it just to be a faded memory. And when you're ready, you can bring your new self back into this space, feeling more at ease, with more clarity, more truth and understanding than ever before. That's right. Take this moment and embrace the restful state that you can choose to be in from this moment forward for the rest of your life. That's right. The moment you're ready to take with you all these lessons and apply them every night as you restfully allow your eyes to close and sleep easily and effortlessly. Because now that you are whole and complete, Perhaps the moment you realize that worry no longer exists in the way it used to. And you could then, only then, bring yourself back into this space, into the room, by opening up your eyes only when you are ready and you've released and let everything go that no longer serves you. Good morning. Welcome back,
Oh,
Maria.
blimey, that brought some stuff up, didn't it? Oh, a lot more to release there than I thought. Uh, yeah, you certainly found the buttons to press. Uh,
How's your chest?
Not quite so tight.
How about your throat?
I think there's still a little bit of a lump in there. That was a lot to process. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Perhaps you might haven't noticed that you are still processing.
Oh, definitely. No, I think I have more work to do on that, but having found a place to start, I think is yeah,
And be
it's
very
good.
confronting, yeah?
Yeah, yeah, very.
Especially when we have buried things in the past, thinking we've moved past the past, not realizing that the past is still with us.
Yeah,
And that's why we are the way we are.
yeah. Oh,
I mean, people could tell you, and be direct and tell you how you can live your life, but until you accept it as truth, life won't change until you change.
yeah.
I'm just curious if, and you don't have to share this right now, but Did you find yourself carrying both the girls in your hand? And are they still with you now? And there's the emotion. And I think the moment that we realize that there are moments in our life we felt so alone, and when we discover that we can be there for us, that confrontingness, I think, brings a lot of comfort.
Yeah. I
And if
think I
it,
may still have a bit of work to do here, but
you
I
need a
think
few more
I've
sessions.
I've found something that I've forgotten about.
Let it out, my girl. Let it out, Maria. Let it out. Can I give you a task to do?
Sure.
Do you have any mountains nearby?
We have hills.
Do you have a hill where no one can see you? No one can hear you? Do you have one of those somewhere? Can you find one?
Yeah, yeah.
What I'd like you to do is go to that hill and take with you the 19 and the 15-year-old up that hill. And then I want you to scream to the top of your lungs as loud as you can while you're holding these two girls, and release everything that they both have ever held on to through your body, through your throat, through your mouth, through the sound that you can just allow to leave. And I want you to do it 3 times, one for each of them and one for you. Is that something you can do? And
I
if it's
think that
not
would
for
do me
yourself,
the world of good.
if it's not for Maria, it's for the 15 Maria and the 19 Maria. If it's not for you, do it for them. There is a liberation when our voices are heard. There is a sense of relief and clarity when we bring everything vocally up to the surface and we vocally externalize it into the world and just release it from where it came from. There is a healing ability in doing something like that, and you don't have to take anyone with you. You go up to a mountain and you imagine you're take these girls with you, and you scream it all out. Then
Yeah,
when you're done, you can sit on the floor. And the way you know how to do this, you get your right hand on your heart and your left hand over, and I want you just to rock yourself for a few minutes until your body knows when to stop, and just hold on to them. And if you want to tap the bilateral stimulation like this, you can also do that. But just rock your body in comfort and let them know that you're here now. And you won't let them go again. There's the emotion again when I bring that up to your awareness. There's residue in here.
yeah,
You probably started understanding why things changed here. You can read up about that. Do you have
yeah.
questions for me?
No, I think I still have a lot to process, and going for a walk on the hills with those two girls.
Yes, 2 of them, because they need you the most, not those people you've been caring for. They're the ones that need you right now. You got to prioritize your life in the right way. While your brain just continues to process, I'm going to give you the two tools that I promised I'll give you early on. The first one is brain dump everything. I'm sure you've heard of this before. Just all the thoughts, positive, negative. Don't reread them the next day. Just jot them all down and close the book. Step two, you lay down and you keep your eyes looking backwards a little bit. And then what you do is you take an inhale in, and as you inhale, you close your eyes and you imagine a clock and you see the large handle ticking all the way to 15. As you open and you close your eyes 15 times, you see each number fading out until you lose the number and you fall asleep. If it starts at 15 and you're still seeing the numbers, then you start back at 1, 2, 3, 4. Open your eyes, close your eyes, open your eyes, close your eyes. Some people prefer not to open and close multiple times. Some people can just close and visualize the clock ticking. And then once it fades, they're gone. Some people prefer to open and close. So see what works for you. You can play with
Okay.
the model, but it's a clock. Your eyes are sort of up. And if you want to keep your eyes closed, just keep your actual iris up,
Yeah.
even with your eyes closed, because it helps us drop into trance a lot more easier.
Yeah.
When you're in that state, 1, 2, 3, all the way to 15, because the clock moves clockwise, not anti-clockwise, and just allow the sleep to naturally drop into its natural state, which the melatonin, which it's the chemicals will start to express themselves in the body and release naturally. And then you'll
Yeah.
lose it in the middle of the night if you find you woke up again. Notice the clock, deep breath, breathe out. Open and close eyes or keep them closed. Notice the clock until it finishes. If not, start it again 1 to 15 and just keep doing the process until you don't even think about doing it because you're in a deep REM sleep. You're done. You're in delta. When you do that enough times, you're training your brain how to do things the right way. But now that we've done a lot of work today, a lot to process,
Yeah.
you might notice a lot of emotions popping up in the next few days. Please don't freak out. If you're having outbursts of tears or heart palpitations, just send me a message. Let me know. We'll do a bit of reframing behind the scenes, book another session in or something. And just to keep you going, I'm there along that little journey as you get to the other side. So you will find a lot of things changing. Your thoughts might even shift,
Yeah.
most likely, probably. And you might find that you have more resolve,
Yeah.
which is a big one.
Yeah.
And sometimes that's enough. So be gentle with them both. Gentle,
Yeah.
not so hard and harsh. They're girls. They're very emotional, and very expressive. And when we suppress the expression, it's not fair, you know. So just be there for them. And as you progress in the journey and as your mind continues to process, you'll notice some changes in the next few days, weeks, and even months. And then I'll reach out to you to see where you're at as we move along.
That would be great.